First 40 sports show with the Goon Squad, Black Thor, Icewater, and yours truly, Puma. We've been away for a week, but, we observing the holiday and know you guys are busy, but we got a jam-packed show tonight. We're going to talk about topics, college football, college basketball, the NBA, the NFL. Of course, our picks come in the second half of the show. And Black was leading in 1 week, and just like Duke, the next week he was gone. But only 2 games behind. But it'll be a strong finish for the fellas. Catch us on the back end of the show. Subscribe, like, comment on our show. Coaching changes in college is fast and furious, Black. You got Lincoln Riley moving from Oklahoma to USC. You have Brian Kelly. And this one doesn't make sense to me, and maybe you can chime in on this one. Moving from Notre Dame to LSU, and I'm not blaming Brian Kelly on this one, Black. I'm blaming LSU. Alabama owns Brian Kelly. And why did LSU, with all this money, decide this is the man we're going to get?
I'm going to say this. I look at it a little different. I think they own him with Duke players. I'm going to tell you this straight point blank, bro. I think his coaching, he's done some pretty good coaching down at Notre Dame. I'm not going to take that away from him. Now, only thing I question with this move is, can he handle the Louisiana way? And you got to be able to kind of get into Louisiana, but you just can't go down there. He's that type of stiff neck, shirt, collar, bro. You're going to have to start drinking something a little bit. You got to loosen up a little bit because you really got to entertain the folks down in Louisiana. Now, his coaching, I think, for me, great move. And I tell you why, because if he can recruit the players that some players that he couldn't recruit or didn't want to recruit at Notre Dame, if he can get them at that area to come in and play with his scheme, with his coaching, bro, I'm here to tell you, LSU is on its way, bro. They're on their way because not only that, you can have some of the players that would have went to Duke anyway, good talented players, they're going to come there as well.
Or Notre Dame.
That would have probably went to Notre Dame. They're going to follow him because I believe he can coach. I'm serious. So to me, it depends on if he can get the players where I think he will. But I think he can challenge Saban. I really do, bro. I just think a lot of times when he came there, his style of, it reminds me a little bit of, not the same, like Yale. Some of the players that want to go, college players want to go play for Yale, they want to go for the name. Notre Dame players, they go there for the name. Now, you have some players that came from Notre Dame and stand out, getting one of their standout players. But now you're going to get some of that. You're going to get some of those Creole players coming in. You're going to get some of this. If he can mix it up well with good coaching, I think he's going to fit well. I do. I think for him, I heard some, I was watching a couple of things. They say the way he did it and all that. Bro, I'm sorry. Anybody put that type of money in front of you, you're going to move. But at the same time, I think, too, he realized he was never going to win a championship at Duke. He realized he got to Duke as far as he can get them.
You mean Notre Dame?
Huh?
You mean Notre Dame?
I'm sorry, at Notre Dame. He was never going to have a chance to win a championship. So I think this is more personal for him as an accomplishment than anything else. Now he has a chance to basically prove to himself and others his coaching ability can win him a championship. And I think it can get done for him at LSU, man. I really do. I think it's a possibility, especially now, when you see Alabama is not what they used to be a couple of years ago, bro. Alabama is starting. There's some chinks in their armor, and I think they're going to start to slide down a little bit. So to me, he's coming in SEC at the perfect time. Yeah, I think it's a good move for him. Very good, and a wealthy move for him too. I'm just thinking in the back of my head, if these college coaches are making all this money, NFL coaches sitting back going, they thinking,
what am I doing here?
Yes. I mean, so one thing is going to happen. Either NFL coach is going to start making more money or they're going to leave. Because I don't care what Mike Tomlin said. After you got your ass kicked where you got your ass kicked on a Sunday, USC might have been a better option.
Well, Ice, what do you think about this gumbo that Brian Kelly is going to be tasting in Louisiana, getting folks from here, Black said here, getting the Creole and all this other stuff, and I don't even know what you drink with gumbo, but maybe some sweet tea or something like that. But what do you think about Brian Kelly's move, man, and even how he did it?
Yeah, how he did it was kind of funky though, bro. I mean, I'm serious. I mean, you had the right to do whatever, but your team is like one loss away by another team of being in the national and the college playoffs right now. If Michigan loses, whoever loses, Notre Dame's right there, and you go, you know what? It's been great. It's hard to leave, but I'm the hell up out of here. I can see if they lost 3 games, you had no chance in hell. You are this close. What you come there for? But hey, things happen. The other part of it too that is really bizarre to me is he's going after everybody. The one thing they're talking about is he's already taken a couple Notre Dame coaches with him. He's trying to get Ohio native Marcus Freeman, the defensive coordinator that was at Cincinnati, that came to Notre Dame last year. He already told him, look, when y'all done, come on. But see, the quandary there for him is the fact that Marcus Freeman might be a candidate for the Notre Dame job. And the other quandary may be the fact that Notre Dame's going to go after Luke Fickell down in Cincinnati, you know, whatever, win, lose, or draw. They're going to chase Luke Fickell because that's one of the jobs Luke Fickell wants. It was either Ohio State or Notre Dame. So, of course, Luke Fickell gets the job. He's going to try to keep Marcus Freeman. So it's a lot of stuff going on. But I agree with Black when it comes to Kelly. He was at Cincinnati, did pretty good well there. Got the Notre Dame job, okay. And it's just different than Notre Dame. You're not in the conference. We've been talking about that forever. Now you get over here at the SEC, you know, if Coach O can win the championship, I no disrespect to him, he can win the championship with some folks, 1 or 2 folks. Imagine what a coach like Kelly can do. Because Kelly is, he's the stiff shirt, you know, type guy. But I guarantee you'll be down there. He will figure that out.
You'll understand him. Yeah.
I mean, right, you won't, but you got to learn how to get what. I bet you're gonna become undone with it. Give him a little moonshine down there.
There you go, Bourbon Street, baby.
You get a little uncovered down there. You never. Hey, I'll tell you, I win that championship. So I'm just saying, if they made him, it was like the Godfather. They made him an offer he couldn't refuse, and it's not a bad offer. It's not a bad offer. But the other thing too, though, is great opportunity. LSU can make that happen. But I want to talk about Lincoln Riley. You mentioned about Lincoln Riley going out to USC. Lincoln Riley saw the writing on the wall, and he's a very good coach. He was crying, talking about, I didn't want to leave Oklahoma. But he was like, damn, we about to go to SEC. You about to join the SEC. And don't nobody want none of that. But he was having issues with his quarterbacks, and USC loves him. They need a coach like him that can really get the offense going, put some more respect back on USC's name. They're going to get some more recruits coming in. Perfect move for him, because I'm telling you, say what you want to, when Oklahoma and Texas go to the SEC, man, in football, woo, bruh, it's already tight. You know, it's tight to be top 4 in the SEC. You end up in the bottom half when you was living La Vida Loca over in the Big 12. Lincoln Riley was like, you know what? Get out of here. It's getting hot. Start taking his clothes off. Start getting hot. Because USC wants him and they give him a lot of money. And you on the West Coast, bro. He's like, I love y'all. Y'all got a great program, but I'm going to miss everybody, but later.
That crying was not necessary, man.
Black, I'm looking at USC. If he does it right, the USC could be like the cream of the crop in the Pac-12, because really no team is really kind of standing out in the Pac-12 until Oregon, and Oregon is kind of fading. But if he can do it really the right way, USC is back on the map in college football.
I think I want to piggyback on one thing about Brian Kelly if I move on to Lincoln Riley. I think, even though I don't think they will, I think I said this to you off, we talked about this a little while about Notre Dame. Notre Dame is not making it the top 4. I don't care who loses. they're not putting it's just my personal opinion. I was watching Feinberg on ESPN. He said the same thing. The mere fact they're down in the conference this year, they don't want to see them go there and lose the way they've been losing. And with that being said, I think Brian Kelly, I'm not saying he could have waited a while. He could have probably LSU, let's hold off a little while and do what he got to do, at least till we know what's going on. But I don't think he wanted to go and get his ass kicked as bad as he got kicked before.
True.
I really do. I don't think he wanted to sit through that anymore. I just don't think he did. So I think that was part of his decision too at this time. You know, we get out the way, because even we do go, come on, who they beating in there? They ain't beating Georgia. They ain't beating Alabama. And as we see what Michigan did on Saturday, they ain't beat Michigan. Let's just be honest. So going to Lincoln Riley, I honestly thought this cat, and I said this a while ago, I think he's coming to the NFL. And I think he's scared of the NFL, a little bit, to be honest with you. But truth be told, I think Jerry Jones wants him, or wanted him. But he didn't want to leave at the time when they hired McCarthy. So that's why I think he stayed at Oklahoma. Like I said, they're getting ready to go to the SEC. Bro, if you ain't got a defense, that offense ain't going to get you what's the point of SEC. It just ain't going to happen. Now, you can take that offense, if his quality of offense to USC, yes, sir. LA, high flying, it's going to look good. And you're going to have to, at some point, string your defense. So for him, it's an excellent move. Excellent move. I mean, great money. And he's going to be a star. He's going to be a star at USC because realistically, he's going to get his quarterbacks. That cat, look at the quarterbacks he's sent on to the NFL. So he's like that quiet quarterback whisperer in college. So his offense and quarterbacks are going to be there. And what quarterback, what young man would not like to go to USC as a quarterback and bring that tradition back? Those receivers, the running game. So it may take him a year or two, but he's going to get that back. And once he gets it kicking, the competition that he's going to face is not that stiff. It really isn't. There's some good games. So, he's going to, if he can handle it, and I believe he will, that university will rise back real quick because they're not facing that competition in that division like other divisions have. So, very good move for him. Bro, just stop the crying. You were there for a good while. It'd be a different story if you kind of basically are running out. You did a half-ass job. You gave them a lot. They should have basically, in my opinion, threw your ass a parade. Seriously. They should have thrown you a parade for what you've done because when Stoops moved out of the way, you took it from here. And I'm not saying Stoops did a bad job, but this cat took it from here. He brought Oklahoma up here as far as I'm concerned. So, hey, man, to me, if you leave something better than you found it, bravo.
So I'm thinking Urban Meyer and Notre Dame. No, we'll do that next.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. It's gonna be hard. I'll just say this. I would think with all those two jockeying around, all these names popping, you can't tell me that Urban's man wasn't trying to get him out of Jacksonville. But his name never popped up. I think college might be done with him. And if you look at a lot of these contracts, 10 years. What university is going to give him a 10-year contract when they know after 2 or 3 years he's going to burn out and start leaning over and act like he's having a hernia? So I just don't see it, bro.
The other thing is that I think in Saban's contract, he's always going to be the highest paid coach based on what other coaches are getting. So he's probably just with a cigar sitting there like, do your thing, boys. One of the things I did read not too long ago is the recruiting kind of pot that the states, California is a big state for recruiting. And this is where most NFL players come from: California, Florida, Texas, and Georgia. So if you're recruiting out of those areas, you get a wealth of talent in those particular areas. All right, so I'm gonna go to you because Black sent me this story the other day. Liz, no, but I understand it. Liz is on the OnlyFans, the WNBA season is done. And this is what we talked about on When Black Men Talk last week about supply and demand and economics. So Liz is not going to, be stripping and all that other stuff on OnlyFans. But at 6'8", she's a tall glass of water, beautiful woman, and she says, you know what? If the demand is there, I can supply it. So she's going in there. Ice, what do you think, man?
Big sexy boy, Liz. Big sexy boy. Anyway, I'm not being.
I'm sorry, I turned off that face you had, Black.
look, I'm not trying to be chauvinistic, but she has an appeal, and I think sometimes when you have the larger women or like that, they don't get a lot of love like that, man, when they're growing up and stuff. And now she is all over the place. They have made her look very sexually, very appealing, and she's just taking advantage of the situation. So you can't be mad at her about that. I mean, and as a woman, she's like, hey, I want to be appreciated, So she's out there, and they've been doing it. For research purposes, I peeped a few of the things that they had available, and
on the case.
Yeah.
You gotta share whatever you gotta share, my brother. Come on, man.
As an investigative journalist, that was my job to be prepared for the show today. So she basically, I mean, hey, she has the look. She looks great. She appeals to a lot of people, and it's her time, as you said. So you got to strike while the iron's hot. I'm not mad at her. I mean, like you said, she's gonna do it tasteful. She's been in a few things, been a Playboy, been in a few things. So, hey.
I gotta get that back.
Oh yeah, you need to peep that one anyway. But that just only for investigative purposes. Only.
Yeah,
I'll Google that right after the show. Be honest with you.
Yeah, send that. Yes. Black. You know, when I first saw the story, I'm like, I just wanted to have her to myself. It's like now it's done, man. It's done. But you can't keep someone that beautiful to yourself at a particular time.
I'll just say this, man. It surprised me a little bit, but the way she's doing it is classful. It is classy. It has some sophistication to it, and it's kind of a good. If she is going to do of such, it's not a bad way to do it. As you said, we talked about on the show. I talked about the 1,000 women showing up for audition, and I was like, damn. I just saw that as being sorry, man. Sorrowful. Now, I look at her and I'm saying she's going to be in an environment where she's controlling basically what she's doing. No one else is in there. So this is not the same orange to orange. It's real more so orange maybe the grapefruits, bro. It's totally different. It's a choice she made. And like I said, she's striking iron when it's hot. I remember I read this story a while ago. I think I shared it with you guys, either show or the other show, where a wife, her and her husband were both working during the pandemic, had to work from home. And she went up there and she's clocking in 100 G's a month. Her husband said, guess what? We both quit our jobs. Jeez, he's working the camera a month. Now, she's a no-name. Liz Cabbage is well-known worldwide. Think about that for a second.
Australian born, I believe.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
Not only that, she's going to make a lot of money, bro. Her brand, when she's done, if she's choosing to be done, her brand, I mean, I'm saying her, if she, all I would say, hopefully for her, she has a good agent. It seems like she does, because the doors are going to fly open for her. Because when, like I said, when the last time you seen a woman that tall, that sexy, that beautiful, that graceful? Oh my goodness, bro. It's just, oh, I mean, I thought I was in love with what's the girl?
Oh, now you giving up. Now you switching again. There you go.
I'm just saying. I thought I was in love with remember Tina Thompson from Houston?
Yeah.
No, I'm not even trying to compare, but she steps on Tina some, bro. She just does. I'm still crazy about Tina.
And
but
Maya Moore and Candace. And so,
bro, this is a whole different category here. You can't never talk about Candace. And Amaya, you can't talk. This is totally different. But there's a sex appeal about her that is just in a world of its own, bro. And that, and it's a clean sex appeal, and that's what's going to kill. It's going to kill. It's just not her taking off her clothes. Even some of the pictures I saw, I think she did a pictures for ESPN. Their naked vert, bro. There's a quiet sex. Not even gonna say quiet. There's a sex appeal about her that size.
Yeah, you're gonna be watching a food show because Black is talking about this like it's some kind of special recipe.
Yeah. Hey, we got to get him a spray bottle over there pretty soon. You don't need a spray bottle.
Cool off, man.
He on fire, yeah.
I know one thing. When I saw the story, I was like, I gotta get this to Puma quick.
I was like, damn, they ruined everything. But I read into the story more, and I'm like, okay, I see what she's doing. I see what she's doing. I watched the Tiger Woods interview, and not because I really wanted to, but I wanted to see where he was at pretty much. And I'm gonna go to Ice again on this one first, because I can see it in Black's face. But Ice, you get the sense that Tiger Woods he was kind of trying to convince himself and the public that I'm done. This is not going to be the way it is going to be, because the pictures and the video came out, and immediately like, oh, Tiger's back, such and such. You see ESPN and everybody ramping up, and I think it was clever for him to come out in a public statement. It's like, listen, no, this is not going to happen. And I want to send also a shout out to Lee Elders, who passed away earlier this week also. But I take it from there, bro.
Yeah, well, I mean, love or hate Tiger Woods. I mean, whatever works for you, that's what it is. For me, I think the one thing I hope is the real deal is the fact that he's getting himself together so he can live his life because of the factor that he wasn't in a good place, bro. I said that before. I mean, even when he was going through when the first time when they found him, he was listless, walking around, and he had all these surgeries, taking medications. And the last time, bro, I told you from the beginning, none of that made sense. I said from the beginning he was on something. For those that have never partaken in anything or know anything about drugs, I have anyway. But for those that have no idea, I'm just saying, man, you like, damn, what the hell? Well, he was asleep. He was half awake and he was really tired. And that's what, man, you don't do that when you're tired. You don't hit the accelerator 65 miles an hour, bro, when you sleep. The car, foot comes off the gas and you kind of go down the hill. Dude was hitting that thing at an alarming rate. But the whole point of it is, I hope he gets his life together where he's comfortable and realize doesn't he have to be a superstar all the time and be comfortable with his family. Guys, with all the money, all the things that are going on, there's so many people that have money that are never happy. They're always trying to live to that level of being a superstar. And I think he's falling into that category. And for him, I just hope that he is in a place where he can calm down and live a life, man, I live a life of happiness without being in the forefront. I mean, love him, hate him, whatever. Because when I saw him, I think he was on a path of destruction. And every time he would get in trouble or something crazy would happen, I was like, he going down. I don't know if he's gonna come back from the next one. So that's how I leave that right there.
Yeah, Black. It just seems like the chapter has ended, and he sees it now. The reality has hit finally that I got to move on from this.
You know something? This is sad on a lot of fronts, bro. Because the chapter ended years ago, man.
Yeah, exactly.
It did. It really did. And I think Tiger was trying to bring it back and do whatever, but it ended a long time ago. But what happened? Tiger was such. I was saying this to someone the other day. Tiger became, I'm not gonna say a folk hero, but he became something that I don't think he totally understood. He took a sport that most people didn't give a shit about, and he basically elevated it. And he became must-see television when he played on the weekend when he was playing the golf circuit. So he brought a lot of people, different shades to sport golf itself, and I think a lot of them fell in love with him. Not only just as a golfer, as a man, what he stood for. And when Tiger basically, when it came out, what was going on with his personal life, what happened, that came crashing down. At the same time, his playing golf came crashing down. And it's sad to say it took him now, at this point now, slamming into a wall to realize you got to get your life, bro, your life should have been gotten back. And I always said this about Tiger, especially when that accident happened. His father, just my personal opinion, and some folks can be mad at me saying this, it is what it is in my eyes. His father taught him how to swing a golf club. He didn't teach Tiger how to be a man. And I don't think Tiger knows how to stand up as a man. And I think what he's been trying to do since that accident, since his wife, whatever took place, the first time with his wife, he's been trying to appease everybody, trying to get back to whatever, instead of really realizing where he is and what he needs to do. Tiger, when that accident happened, you owe nobody nothing. You still could have been out there doing commercials. You created enough, but you wanted to come back. And sometimes you can't regain something that's gone. And it's been gone for a long time. So you've been living through a fantasy that people have been hoping. I remember when the accident happened. ESPN was, you had people in the commentaries, ESPN. If anybody can come back from this, Tiger can. He's not $6 million man. He's not. Let's get real. And they want him back for their own selfish reasons. So hopefully he realized what he needs to do. I don't even want to talk about the accident because I have my own ideas about that, and I hate to be wrong. But hopefully at this point now, Tiger, you got kids, bro. Enjoy your life with your kids. You are blessed and fortunate enough to have made money. That should not be an option for you. The game has served you well. Enjoy the rest of the days you are blessed to be on the face of this earth while even looking at a fucking golf course.
Last week was a humdinger, to say the least, and there were some surprises last week. But stage is set. It's championship week this week. But let's go back to last week. I had an opportunity to tape the Michigan-Ohio State game, and I didn't listen to any broadcasts and anything before that because I wanted to see the game. And I was talking over the game with Pop, and I'm like, it just seemed like Michigan would not let Ohio State get down the field. They kept everything in front of them, and it just didn't seem like the Ohio State team we've been watching for the last 2 weeks putting up 50 on teams. I'll go to Black first and then go to Ice. Other games or that game that stood out to you last week in college football?
I'm gonna roll with this one. Oklahoma State, I think they played last week. That was pretty good too. But I'll say this. I remember when Michigan played Michigan State and Michigan State beat them. I came away thinking Michigan was better than Michigan State. That running back, for some whatever reason, he just demolished, Michigan that day, and they took that game. And I know we talked about it here, and it was surprisingly that the committee basically had Michigan State in front. I was saying I think Michigan's
I was wrong too.
I said I thought Michigan was better. So I wasn't surprised, but they did lose to them. It was kind of screwy. But what I saw Saturday, man, is that you saw a team basically came out and said, we're tired of this. We're tired. They saw it was at stake. We're tired. And John Harbaugh and his offensive coordinator realized if we could just pound the ball on them, wear them down, make them antsy, there's no way in the world offensively they could have hung with Ohio State just slamming the ball. I remember after the first, they went down, they got the first touchdown, and they came back. It was in the red zone. And the quarterback threw on the triples. He drew on the triple coverage and interception. I'm like, you're running the ball. Why are you throwing it? It was almost like watching the Dallas Cowboys. You're running the ball good. Just go back and run it. And when they got it back, that's what they did. Kept pounding. And their last drive, the way they just basically had gap and holes, you saw it. And I think what happened with Ohio State is a lot of times, a lot of times when teams score quickly, and you get ahead and you can score so easily, you lose. We see this with Kansas City Chiefs. You lose that patience. Okay, if I'm not scoring, you get antsy, you start doing things. And I think that played a part with Ohio State on Sunday. Saturday. They kind of figured when it was tight, we got to get ahead. They came out in the second half, and when they couldn't go right down the field and score, I think it messed with their mental state. And every time that point after that, they tried to move a little bit, Michigan smacked them back down. But that was an old-fashioned game. I'm not saying I will say an ass whooping, because realistically, that game wasn't as close as the score made it seem, in my opinion. It just wasn't that close. It was closer, than the score might think you want to think. You watch the game fully, Michigan should have had many more points. But they did a job of taking the air out of the football and just pushing the Ohio State defensive line around. And that quarterback did enough. He didn't have to win the game, but he did enough. When he had to make some throws, he made some damn good throws. So I'll tip my hat to Jim Harbaugh, because I'm going to tell you, about a year ago, I think he got a new extension about a year ago, I'll let him go. It's time for him to go. And it's funny because I was thinking the same thing about the coach real quick. At Penn State, I said, it's time for Franklin to go. And what did Penn State do? Double down and give him a new contract. So we'll see what happens there. But sometimes that stability works out to your favor.
Yeah. Georgia's still rolling Ice. I was really surprised. I thought Ohio State would be in that number 2 slot in the playoffs. It just wasn't meant to be. Alabama, Auburn let them off the hook. Mm-hmm. Auburn had that game, and they let Alabama off. We were fun. I was kind of, me and Pop were on the phone, and I'm like, man, I hope Alabama doesn't make the playoffs. And Auburn just didn't play smart down the stretch. And now we have championship week. What are your thoughts from last week's games?
Yeah, well, start with Alabama, Auburn. I'm watching that game late, and I'm like, why are you in prevent defense?
Yeah.
And you've been pressing all game long. That's how you got to the lead. And all of a sudden, you're playing scared. And you knew it was just a matter of time before Alabama, if you just let them hang around long enough, they're going to win by default, which is what they did. I mean, they were able to get another 2-point conversion in second overtime, and Auburn just kind of got tired of gas. But they had the game won. They literally had it won, but they got tight. But that's what it is, and you have to move on. But Ohio State, Michigan, from the start, you see how things were going. Michigan basically came in with the bully attitude. You had a lot of players that had not played in that game before. They've been rolling all year, though, so you thought they would step up and get it done. But the problem for me was Ohio State didn't make any type of adjustments especially on defense. I mean, they were running crazy, running left, running right. It reminded me of the Oregon game. They can do what they want to, and there's nothing you can do about it. Then you're asking your offense to come out there and get some things done. And some of the offensive players were tight as well. I mean, the running back, Henderson, can only do so much if the offensive line's not blocking. And the quarterback is getting a little tight because he's feeling pressure now, and they have worked him enough on mobility. And, my guy, the only person I kind of really saw ready to go, and he didn't have the greatest game in the world, was Wilson. Wilson is the one that worked on his draft status. Still got this thing together because he made a hell of a catch, but it still wasn't enough. So what can you say? Michigan won the game. They came out. Sometimes attitude goes more. When you see a weakness, you go after it. Conditions, everything was right for them. So whether or not they can get it done, and they had a great game plan for that game, and they got it done. It is what it is. 10 years though, baby. So, it's a decade. It's a decade. It's a hell of a run. And hey, sooner or later, nothing lasts forever. But kudos to Michigan for getting it done. Now, what we want to see is what happens when they move forward. Because as you say, I know we'll talk about the games coming up, but there's some unfinished business for them. There's no guarantee in the situation that they face on Saturday. So the one thing I will say about Michigan, I think they played the game of the year for themselves, whether they played. But Michigan has been known to be a Jekyll and Hyde squad. 1 week they killing you, next week you go, can they score 24 points?
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what this matchup comes Saturday. And I'm not saying that with any bias or whatever. I'm just stating what's there. So we'll be able to see what happens.
Well, you got Georgia against Alabama. That should be a doozy. Michigan against Iowa for the Big Ten championship. Cincinnati. Don't sleep on Houston. They're ranked 21, but those guys can go. And of course, you have some other games going on. Oklahoma State has to beat Baylor to stay in the conversation. And that's going to be a tall task. Notre Dame is just sitting there. And Black, you mentioned earlier, people are saying no matter what Notre Dame does, I guess they're honoring that if you're not in the conference and you're not playing the championship game, which Notre Dame does not have a game to play next week, then why are we putting you in the playoffs at this particular point?
I think it'd be more fact that their coach left. Are you going to move them into the conference? You're going to move into the top four, allow them to get there. I mean, come on, man. You can't. And I think if he stayed, they weren't going anyway. But I don't think and I think he kind of felt that too. But no, Notre Dame has played their last game of the season, bro. It's all over. It's just basically over for them. No matter what happens, I think that somebody's going to jump in front of them. Because if anything, they want comparative play between those top four teams. It's going to be interesting to see what happens between Georgia and Alabama, because I got it funny, even if Georgia lose, are you knocking them out of the top four? I mean, realistically, let's say Alabama beats them as a close game. You're going to take Georgia from 1 to 5 or 6 over Cincinnati. You're going to drop them below Cincinnati. I just don't see that happening. I think the only thing that's going to real shake up Michigan, I'm assuming they're going to beat Iowa. If they lose to Iowa, damn. But things have happened. I agree. I would just say on that tip, Alabama is the wild card because there's no way Alabama can lose and stay in the top 5. There's no way. It just can't happen. And I agree with all. I don't know how Auburn let Alabama win that damn game. I'm looking at it going, you gotta, like what's name said years ago, the coach of the Detroit Pistons. When you got a snake by the head, you gotta rip that head off, bro. Because if not, the snake will come back and bite you. Rip the head off. I'm trying to think of his name. Coach Daly said that. Chuck Daly. Yes.
Ice, what are you seeing? What's in your crystal ball for championship week?
Well, like I said, Iowa and Michigan, the key is Michigan, if they come out high power like they did, that's great. Iowa is known for shutting teams down, stopping the run, causing problems. Iowa's problem is they aren't able to score a lot of points offensively, but your defense can score points. And if you play slow down Big Ten football, you play in Iowa's wheelhouse. So I think they have a shot. We'll see. Maybe this is Michigan's year. Maybe they're ready to go. But I'm be intrigued by that. When you think about, I'm really intrigued by Baylor, Oklahoma State. Baylor's a damn good team. If you watch Baylor, they play high energy, high powered. And the question is Oklahoma State going to be able to handle the heat? It's a lot of heat going on where possibly you could be right where you want to be and move forward. So Baylor's like, we're not going nowhere. We just playing upset, as far as the, trying to play upset in that way. Georgia, Alabama, Georgia, like you said, if Georgia loses, they're not going anywhere. They're solidified in the slot. We'll see what happens. Cincinnati should not move down, but I think they got to win, man. I do. If everybody else wins and Cincinnati loses, I mean, I just think because of their schedule. The schedule was real. They have a bad schedule, man. It's not no fault of their own. They beat Notre Dame at home. But what is that worth right now when you look at it? What is that worth? But you got to say to yourself, who else have they played? And that's the other thing about Cincinnati. So a loss to Houston, that's like 21. I think that the committee, as much as they want to act a certain kind of way and whatever, when Cincinnati being undefeated and winning their games and other teams losing, they had to put Cincinnati in. But now, if Cincinnati loses, it just makes it easier for them to go. See, I told you they weren't that good anyway. You can't look. You had the easiest task of everybody, right? And now here you go, and they're gonna go. Bloop. If there's somebody else waiting, they think it's rough. And I agree, it will not be. I don't think it should be Notre Dame. But if it's another team like I'm looking at it right now, but another team will probably jump them because the way that Cincinnati handled Notre Dame at Notre Dame is crazy. But the other thing, you guys mentioned it too. I think too now, and they mentioned, I saw the little tag on there, what you can consider about teams. The fact that Kelly left and there will not be a strong team, and they don't think they will be if he was there. I think they're gonna go, nah, we ain't even doing that. And I think, I'm not saying they had a great chance anyway, but they had a better chance if he was there. But now he just walked away from the program. Now who's gonna coach? An interim coach in the playoffs?
That's such a signal that he doesn't think that.
Right, that too. Yeah. But the committee's like, we're gonna put an interim head coach in the in the college football playoff. All the money, everybody's complaining, teams shouldn't be in there because they're getting blowed out. Nah, man, I don't see that one. And I think that just gave them what they needed, just in case all the dominoes fell down. That just added what for the committee to go. Y'all, everybody knows it's like not having your quarterback, right? Yeah. If you don't have your quarterback, we like y'all, but you're not as strong as you would be. And he gave him a reason. And I'm thinking Kelly is like, I did what I had to do. But to me, he just turned his back on the team. Even if it didn't make it.
Let's go to college basketball. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Duke went out there and beat the number one team, became number one for maybe a day, and then they dropped it. They'll be dropped by the end of the week. And it's always tricky watching the ACC Big Ten Challenge at the beginning of the year. I always look forward to that to see, kind of gauge what teams are doing. So, Ice, give me your eye test on college basketball this week, bro.
Man, even though I was away, I was trying to catch every little snippet of basketball I could. It's one of them things that you're around 22, 23 people, and there's 3 TVs, and you're like, damn, I need some kind of internet juice. You catch it when you can. You look in, you go to the bathroom restroom. All right, can I check this on real quick? And then you gotta leave because it's not your home. But I caught a few things. But Duke over Gonzaga, man, wow. Duke is a very talented team. Gonzaga's talented as well, but Duke just kind of manhandled them on the inside, which is really a little different, especially when you got the freshman Chet Holmgren playing real well. But Duke just kind of overall, as a team, knew exactly what they do. They handled them, and down the stretch, Duke got it done. Duke flipped around, came to Columbus, must have had a little jet lag, and got relaxed in Columbus last night. Ohio State came to play. Ohio State's team and collectively was ready. They were strong down the stretch, was able to take Duke down. But it's all over the place from the standpoint of University of Dayton had been struggling early on. They went to a tournament, beat Miami, and took down Kansas. I think that's payback for the other year when they beat them earlier in the one year. But Dayton beat Kansas, Michigan State beats UConn, San Diego State beats Georgetown, Baylor slams Michigan State. But 3 teams, I'm gonna tell you, look out for. Iowa's 7-0 right now. Mm-hmm. Purdue is solid. Purdue's probably going to be number one. And my last point on college basketball is Indiana just lost their first game last night to Syracuse. Mike Woodson, that my same Mike Woodson, raising hell with the Knicks and everybody else, is now the coach for the Indiana Hoosiers. And there's one name I'm gonna give to you. Just watching for the rest of the year. Black Thor, pay attention. I'm not gonna pay attention. Pay attention. I know you are anyway, but pay attention. This young man's name is Tracy Jackson Davis. He's 6'9", sophomore, averaging 22 points, 9 rebounds a game. He had 31 and 10, I think, the other night. And he has good genes. He's the son of former Indiana Pacer Dale Davis. He is the truth.
All right. What school he play for?
The truth. Indiana.
Indiana, okay. All right.
He is the truth.
Okay.
And then if you like high flying dunks too, he goes upstairs as well. 6'9", 6'10". He's the real deal.
Okay.
That's KD kind of size. Hopefully he got more weight. But the top 10, we got Arkansas at 10, Kentucky at 9, Kansas at 8, Texas at 7, Villanova at 6, UCLA at 5, Baylor. They look different. They're a good team, but they need to be in a weight room like that team last year because they're kind of light to me. They're number 4, followed by you have Gonzaga. Purdue is a really good team. I watched them play, I think, North Carolina this year, and they gave them everything they wanted. And Duke is currently number 1. But Black, what's your thoughts?
I want to see Purdue play. I want to see Iowa play some teams that were just mentioned. I was impressed with Duke taking down Gonzaga, and I looked at Gonzaga again this year. And to me, I think Baylor kind of gave some of a blueprint how you can beat them. If you can spread them out and attack them with speed and some power, you can do some damage with Gonzaga. That's where you can kind of hurt them. So I still think they're kind of beat them when it's all said and done. But for me now, man, I want to start to kind of pay attention to some other teams because I was saying to you earlier, man, I think this March Madness is going to be more exciting than last year. It's hard to believe, but I think, it's going to be more exciting. And some of the lower seed teams, I got to pay attention to this year, man. I just got to pay a little more attention to. So I know you had a little tough time the season get started. I don't know if you were paying attention, but I'm in, boss. I'm in. Count me in. I'll put my chips in the middle of the table. Here we go.
Yeah, that Thanksgiving break, man, it gave me a lot of time to just scope out a lot of teams. And I'll tell you about that freshman Holmgren in Gonzaga. He ain't scared. He ain't scared of nobody. He's a player. You think, little Timmy, tall, lanky, little Tim. He coming. He is coming. And so I'm, be afraid. Be very afraid when you play that dude. That dude, he ain't backing down from nobody.
But a bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
Black, give me your NBA eye test.
Man, I'm telling you something. It's kind of sad in a way that some of these networks spend more time on LeBron, the Lakers, when you got other teams out here playing good basketball. I don't know if you guys caught the game last night, Golden State and Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix showed me something last night, man. They showed with their guard going down, and the way they came out in the second half, and the way they played against Golden State, and not only that, I think they kind of unsealed what they do with Curry. They went back to old school basketball last night with Curry, baby. They made sure they bumped him around. They was putting him around. They got him off his game. And I'm looking at this going, wait a minute. Monty Williams is a freaking genius. Because Monty said, wait a minute, when I was playing, we could do this. Now we could do, no, let's just do a little modification. No more of this, you coming through the middle, ain't nobody putting something on you. Ain't nobody we're going to see what we get away with. And I'm watching them last night talking to one of the commercial breaks. I'm saying to myself, the Pelicans, he could still be your fucking head coach. This guy could coach, man. I mean, just flat out coach. Don't get me wrong. Golden State's ready. They're going to be there. They got some players coming back. They're going to be there. I see now Philly basically have brought back, their big center. And I'm going to tell you something. This is where Doc, to me, has to kind of do a little coaching because they were playing pretty good without him. I'm not saying they was winning all games, but a lot of these younger players are playing well without him. They was doing their thing. I have to say this, man. I didn't watch the game, but I like the fact that the Knicks took the Nets, Brooklyn Nets, took them down the wire, bro. Took them down the wire. So The NBA is in a pretty good place. Again, I'm just tired of them paying attention to only one team and focusing on one team, and they ain't going nowhere, bro. They ain't going nowhere. They're not going. And another thing, LeBron has COVID. Stop saying he's in protocol. The man has COVID. It is what it is. Anyone else can have COVID but LeBron? And what happened to these people now driving around with COVID? Nobody got the shot. I thought no one. What was it? Protocol for that? I mean, no one got it.
All right, give me your eye test on the NBA, man.
Yeah, a lot going on. I called out Phoenix last year. Monty Williams is like, we didn't do it last year, but damn it, I think I found out a little something, turned things around a little bit. And I think they're a year older. He's a year older as far as with their team. I like their efforts. Golden State is turned out to be really good when Klay Thompson comes back. And then if they can get Wiseman to, have a clue about it, how to play the game, I think they're going to be really tough to deal with. Somehow, no matter what, besides that missing person, Brooklyn's still in first place. Interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Based on, the Wizards. A couple of weeks ago, the Wizards were sitting pretty in first place. I'm trying to figure out where they've been for the last.
Don't look too far with the Wizards. They're only 2 games back now.
They're 2 games back. Yeah.
Don't be mad at the angry misfits. They still there. They still have
my football picks 2 games back.
Look. Don't be mad at the angry misfits because they still around. Chicago's playing really good basketball still. Miami, the Knicks. Something about Philadelphia. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I think it's just drama over there. They're gonna have to figure that out pretty soon. It might be too late when you look at that. And the Lakers are just the Lakers. They can't figure that out. Houston. You can say what you want to. You can blame John Wall all you want to. He ain't played 1 game. John Wall ain't played 1 game. So you can't say it's John Wall. They made all these moves. They're going to be brand new. We got this kid. This kid is a can't-miss kid out the draft. We got Wood. Everybody feeling good and everything. And you 4-16, bro.
Yeah.
4-16?
It should be a law. You getting paid all that money and you just don't. They don't play you. It should be a law against that. It should be a law. They pay tickets, all that stuff, and you sitting on the bench.
Hey, they don't want you. One last thing. A little nervous about Denver. I ain't gonna say. He got hurt again.
Yeah.
Tried to tell you I should have held on to the change, but you gave it to him. I still think if he comes back, one thing they should do, if they ever get better this season, improve, and Jamal Murray comes back, quit trying to make him a superstar before it's his time.
Yes.
Just because you can shoot 28, maybe make 28 points 1 game, and he has an eruption 1 quarter, doesn't mean he's a damn superstar. They got enough people with Barton over there. They got the Joker. They got a lot of people over there that can play basketball. And let him learn the game. I know he looks great in practice and he'll erupt every once in a while, but the way you bring up future budding superstars, you let them learn how to play first before you throw them out there, because they look good during the regular season, but come postseason, we know what happens. Everybody got tape on you now, baby. So them shots that was going in game 10, game 25, and game 45, they ain't going in all of a sudden. And now you looking around, everybody expecting you to score the same points you did before, and then it's really sad. Come on, Coach Malone, you've been here before. You know what the game's like. Put that guy in the right position. You already gave him the money. Coach him right. Coach him up.
I thought he was a bad draft pick. I remember when they drafted him. I was like, I felt this draft. I want to say this real quick. I forgot to say it earlier, man. Keep an eye on the Utah Jazz. There's something going on wrong with that team, bro. I think they got some inner problem. I don't think they're trusting. I don't think they like each other anymore. I just don't, man. They're starting to remind me of the old Seattle Seahawks a couple of years ago. I think last year when I forgot how it happened. If I remember correctly, I think the center got COVID, didn't tell anybody, and he gave it to a couple of players. I don't think that is over with that team, bro. I just don't think for some reason, you watch them play or you see them, it's like, I think something's going on there. I just don't think they're trust. I don't think they like each other as much as they kind of come on, act like they do. And if that's the case, something's got to give them.
Yeah, they're 6-4 in the last 10. And we'll keep an eye on that. the Major League Baseball hot stove, man. A lot of stuff happening, bro. A lot of stuff happening. Javi Baez, I don't know how. I just kind of think Detroit is kind of like the graveyard of baseball. They're paying him an awful lot of money to be over there. Like 3 years, 140 million. I couldn't sneeze at that, but maybe he's thinking, you know what? I got a World Series ring. Now I need the money. And the Cubs didn't want to pay him. The Mets didn't want to pay him. And Detroit said, hey, come over here.
Yeah, we know Detroit is good for that. It's always that inkling you think it will maybe just no. That's been Detroit's MO. They always get people they pay a lot of money to, and they don't really pay it out often, but they usually go somewhere else and they do well. But hey, they had the money. They said, well, at least it does not mean that we're not trying. Also, figuring out that Matt Scherzer is going to the Mets. That was major right there for them to pick him up. Not sure what he's going to do, but Scherzer going to the Mets is big. Also, yo boy, I mean, there's a lot going on, but the Mets moved a lot of players around, but saying ain't so. Corey Kluber leaves the Yankees and going down to Tampa? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. One of the arch rivals, one of the teams that give us the most problems.
And the sad thing about it is, you know how that goes. He'll get down there, they'll come up, play the Yankees and beat the Yankees. You'll be like, where the hell was you at doing that when we had you in New York?
Yep.
Next thing you know, Jared Cole gonna be down there.
Hope not. I hope not. All right, questions from the squad. Black, what's your first question, bro?
Yes, sir. This question here goes to the Los Angeles Football Rams. Are they kicking themselves in the shin for what they gave up for Stafford?
I don't know, man. I think they didn't feel they could win with golf. So they did what they had to do, I guess. But a lot of that, I don't understand it. Then you go out and you get your boy Beckham, right? You get Beckham and he caught a touchdown, but it's not helping. Something else is happening. I mean, you try to piece it together and he's supposed to be rejuvenated and he hates Cleveland and Cleveland it was Cleveland's problem. Maybe Cleveland wasn't the problem, but I'm just
maybe the Rams are saying.
Huh?
That's what New Yorkers are saying about Beckham. He's been eating off that catch 7 years ago.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I mean, they got to look really hard, long and hard. You went out, you got my man from Denver. You got Miller from Denver. You got all these pieces, but you can have a lot of pieces. Doesn't mean if you can't bring them together and develop chemistry, it's going to be a problem. And I'm about to age myself. Ask the 1977 Philadelphia 76ers.
Why you always got to bring that up, man?
Chemistry is key.
We can't let that go. We just can't let that go, right? Yeah, man. Von Miller came over. I guess he said, I was 4-4 when I went to sleep, and I'm 7-1 when I woke up. Now you 0-3, bro. Ever since you've been with the Rams, man, it's like this is not working. This experiment is not working, and I would take Matt over, the Detroit quarterback over Goff any day, man. But I think what happens is this coach gets outcoached a lot, and he got outcoached in the Super Bowl. People get to figure out what he's doing, and then all of a sudden the offense just stalls. Because in the beginning of the season, it's like they couldn't be stopped. They look like the Rams when they were back in St. Louis, when they were high flying and the greatest show on turf, what they called them. And so now it's almost like they kind of shoot their wad, put out all the stops on offense, and then when teams figure them out, they can't move the ball anymore. And I think the same thing happened with Goff. So it wasn't, to me, just Goff. I think it was the coaching, the offensive coordinator, and the coaching that's stalling. And I don't know what I have no idea what the defense. You got studs over there on the defense, and you can't stop anybody. And I can't figure that out. Black, what are your thoughts?
I think the chemistry of that team, they think they just show up and they're going to win. And I think they thought when they got Stafford, whatever, that was going to fall into place. Stafford is who he was when he was Detroit, bro. Now, is he better than Goff? Yes. But he is not 2 first-round draft picks, and he's not a second or third-round draft pick. He's not. Stafford is not. But you hit the key on the head. And I said this when that deal made. At some point, you got to look at that head coach, bro. he got out coached against Bill Belichick in a Super Bowl. He ain't been the same since.
No.
They figured him out. He ain't been the same since. And he's this young cat they think is a genius, but guess what? He's not. And at some point, it may not be this year or next year, the tide is going to turn on him because they salvaged or they basically sold their future to bring in Stafford. And he went to the ownership and said, if you give me him, we could do X, Y, Z. And you're right, their defense, what are they doing? I mean, they can't cover anyone. They give up points. You can run. How do you run on that front line? How?
Yeah.
How? They can't get to the quarterback. It's just like you looking at it, it's like, what the hell is going week in and week out? There's no adjustments. I'm sorry. Stafford is a bust in an LA uniform. I'm just going to put it right out there. He is a bust, bro. There ain't no one wrong. If you ain't doing better, that team is doing no better with him at quarterback than they did last year with what's his name. Believe it or not. He's a better quarterback. They're not doing any better. And then you run and go get a receiver you really don't need. I know you're in LA. You didn't need Von Miller. I thought it was a good pickup, but you didn't need him. Then you go get what's his name for what? And Green Bay took it to you. Green Bay took it to you, bro. They've been getting to take it to them all season. After their great start, yes, but they weren't playing anybody when they first started, bro. But nah, that to me, he's a bust. And at some point, that head coach got to pay the price because that owner's gonna look at him like, wait a minute, we ain't doing any better. And guess what? Who's coming next year, the year after? It's gonna be the same old players you're trotting out. It's not gonna get any better. That's coaching. You got to coach him up what you got. But he's too busy letting these stars be the stars, and he don't hurt anybody's feelings. There it is.
Yeah. Ice, your question.
Yeah, I saw something. Maybe I'm a little late to the party, but this was kind of magnified a little bit. They asked Candace Parker about how she felt after the season and everything. And one of the things that came out that she don't have no love for Gino A at UConn, and just her going after it, like saying, I don't have no love for him. We beat them. They never beat us when I was there. They don't like me. They won't put me on the Olympic team. Then they came back and asked me again, did I want to be? And I was like, hell no. Nah. She said, I ain't really feeling him. He ain't feeling me. And I'm good with that. Move on. So what do you guys think about that?
Black?
Bro, I think I sent that if I'm not mistaken. That's why I love Candace Parker. For more reasons than one. I just do. Because
Food Network.
we all know the man. Yes, come on, give me. But anyway.
You gave her up. Don't try it. You gave her up. You discarded it. Now you want her back. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't win with you. Can't win with you.
Love never leaves.
Can't win with you.
I'm gonna say one thing my grandmother said to me that was wrong. You can't love more than one. You were wrong, Grandma. I can love many. Anyway.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
I will say this. She's dead on. Gino never got over what Candace Parker did when she was at Tennessee. He didn't like Candace Parker. He didn't like the coach. And he was always doing this and never got over it. And I like how she handled it. When they finally was, no, I'm not going over. He don't like me. I like him. Why am I going to be under him? And basically, no, I'm not submitting that. And her career still flourished. So yes, I love it. I love her candidness, being open right about it and put it right out there. A lot of other people took the, no, put it where it needs to be. And speaking of, I love it. About a week ago, I don't know if y'all caught the game, South Carolina against UConn.
Mm-hmm.
Dawn still has those women tuned up. She got some players. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I think a lot of people forgot the rivalry between Tennessee and Connecticut in women's college basketball. There's no love lost there. And, she loved that coach. She loved Pat.
Yeah.
And so yeah, she still has allegiance to that. She credits Pat Summitt for her career and the woman that she is and how she approaches life. So this wasn't a surprise to me that, there's no love lost with Gino also. And now we get the answers of why she wasn't on that Olympic team. We get the answers now. And I thought some other things were going on with that team, but yeah, there's no love lost. And I think people forget about rivalries don't die out. Some of them just don't. And I think she's feeling that and she's ramping that up. I wouldn't be surprised if if she does coaching. I know she's great in television, but I wouldn't be surprised if she stepped in coaching for a minute because I don't know. I just got a feeling. Ice.
Yeah, I mean, just her coming out the way that she did, and she made some valid points saying, she went to the camp when she tried out and she didn't make it. She said, we had in the camp, I was averaging, average a triple double. I mean, what else can I do? I mean, and then you taking me away from my daughter. Said, you don't want me here, why don't you just tell me? And the way she put it down, and she really started to go straight for Gino to say, it just mad because you couldn't beat me when I was at Tennessee. And then, they called me later for the next game. She said, oh, no way in hell. She said she was done with them. She wished them the best, but she also was what was done when they the LA Sparks with NECA. When NECA was supposed to be on the team and they wouldn't let her go on, and she's like, yeah, I just don't like how they go about their business. And a lot of things have transpired since then. The lady actually that for USA Basketball that was responsible for like putting together the committees and whatnot has now moved on to some other basketball. I don't know if it's FIBA or whatever, but she's out of there. And then nobody wanted to take responsibility for what it was. Gino was like, I was just on the committee. Then and I love Don Staley, but Don was like, well, we're kind of out of my hands. I'm like, you know what? I feel you and I ain't mad at you playing you totally, but it's like anything else. If it's dirt on it and you in the room, your coat dirty too. And whatever it is, when you want to, they were gonna win anyway with the goal. And you had the right to choose who you want to, but it was just kind of sloppy to me. It was sloppy all the way around with the Olympics.
I just wondered if they kind of deemed her as a difficult, player that they didn't want to mess up the chemistry of the team. Maybe that's been thrown out. Maybe Gino has something to do with that, throwing that venom out about her.
I'm gonna tell you something. What was difficult player? It's not that she's difficult.
Mm-mm.
She's a strong Black heterosexual woman. Let's be honest. I'm not even gonna tip around with that. Yeah. And that's where plays a part of it too. Because we know the majority of women in the WNBA are gay. Let's not dance around it. And she's not about that. And she ain't ashamed to tell she ain't about that. So that plays a part, bro. Yes, Gino plays a part. And you're right, Ice. Dawn Staley. She looks like you, Dawn. She looks like you. So don't act like you ain't got nothing to do with it. I love your coaching. But I said this earlier. Black people can't be rolling over when they don't need to roll over. When you wake up in the morning, you're Black. No matter what job you go to, you're Black. When you go back home, you're Black. Be proud of it. Stand up. You got a voice like anybody else. Stop thinking something's going to come by and cut your head off. You know what time it is. You should have spoke out this before this long when she ever said anything. You was on the committee, but you two trying to be Dawn Staley and stay on the committee. Damn all that. Injustice being done to us anywhere is an injustice. We got to start taking care of our own, bro. We do have to and speak out on our own. That's what pisses me off about Dawn Staley, to be honest with you. But it is. Because she don't lick, because Candace don't lick other women. She can't be in there. Like she said, she dropped a triple-double. What more you want her to do? Let's get real, bro. Even if she don't get along with it, it's not about going over there and play patty cake. You want to play a damn basketball game. Let's get real.
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman, it didn't matter. They won championships with them, bro.
Yeah, the other thing that listen to me too is they're celebrating their 25th anniversary, right? 25 years in the game. Candace Parker has been there for almost half of those years. She's been dominant. She's one of the top 25 players in that damn league already. She ain't done. She's still playing. She's top 25, but she's not good enough to make your team. Then just say, like he said, if you only want people that whatever, some kind of way or whatever you feel in some kind of way, just say that. That's what she said. If you don't want me, don't call my house.
Yeah.
Because there's no way in hell she can make the team. We put people out there right now and she will dominate them. So if, like she said, don't waste my time. Why am I trying out? I will come to your practice and work out, but you're going to bring me over here, then I'll make it? 25 players, top 25 players of all time in that league. I don't blame her. I'm with her. Rock on, Candace. You already know. Holla at me, though, for real.
Last second shot, Black.
I'm going to say this, but I notice here locally, there's been a push on Black radio for these fan dues and everything else, man, to get people to be very careful with this new wave of gambling and betting people. Seriously, man. I mean, it's crazy. For years, we couldn't touch basically gambling on football. The NFL didn't want to be on Las Vegas. All of a sudden now they're looking at your money as a new stream of revenue. Don't fall into the hype, bro. Please do not fall into it. bet $5 when there's more than that, bro. Be careful. And when they decide to come on urban radio and bang out commercials every 20 minutes, guess what? They want your wallet. They want to take the money you spend on Hennessy or anything else, and they want some of that. Be careful.
The house never loses. Ice, your last second shot.
Yeah, I was going to kind of jump on that, but I'm going to jump on something else that I read recently. I think it was last weekend, Florida A&M football team went down for a playoff game, and they played a school down in Louisiana. And they had their fans there, loved ones and whatnot. And apparently the fans from the other school got a little crazy with a little racist chants and just being bizarre. And they tried to hold their ground, did all they could ever, just trying to be patient and cool, making chants. They received a lot of threats and different things going on when they were in the stadium. And everything was cool till somebody threw a can of something that hit a child in the face, and the child got hurt severely. And they still tried to hold on and be cool. And they came out without anybody being seriously hurt. But the fact that they were able to stand strong and hold on to it without going off says a lot. So I want to applaud them for that, because I'm going to be real. Me and a couple of my fellas would have been up in there. We'd taken somebody down with us. At some point, we had to realize that we got to stand up, and I'm not advocating violence for anybody, but you got to stand up and let people know that we're not going to be, pushed over again. I'm not mad, but we should overcome and everything. But, this is a damn sporting event, man. This is not war. What? You paying money to watch sports and then you want to attack people because you think you can? So it sounds like some things might need to turn around again, because people losing their damn minds. So I just applaud them for being cool under pressure, because just wasn't right, bro. This was not right.
Yeah. A few weeks ago, I made a comment about RG3, who's doing a wonderful job with Baylor and color commentating in college. Never would have thought about it, that he would be a color commentator, but doing a great job. You might want to check out the article that Yahoo Sports did with RG3 doing a tell-all book on his experience as the Washington quarterback. And they're saying in that article that Dan Snyder should be very, very worried about this tell-all book. Let's stay tuned. We'll probably report this in the near future. That's our show. We're going to come back with the NFL picks. Stay tuned.
I'll tell you something. I think that's a mistake he's making, man.
You think so?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not saying things didn't go on with that team. And if you want to come out and say it, you say it. But to put it out there for profit, bro, there's things that, he's on TV now as well. But it's like we're saying earlier, some other stuff. What's going to happen to him in the future?
Yeah, it's true.
Who's going to look at you with any credibility? RG3, you self-sabotage yourself in the field, bro. Whatever they were doing, that's cool. Now, if you want to get on a talk show and say it, I'm with you. But you're trying to make this to take down somebody else, I think you're going too far. Because your next potential owner is going to look at you. It could be a TV station, a network. We can't trust him.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think timing is everything, man.
Exactly.
Why now? You got a good situation. The same thing could have been just as relevant in 5 years, 2 years, 3 years.
Yes.
If you walked away doing something else, but right now, and when you come at it, like they say, even though he's not doing it, you can't sue your boss and expect to walk away and come back and keep your job. Sooner or later, they're gonna get rid of you. You want to fire you want to sue your boss, and then you want to come back, you win, and then you want to get your job back too? Now, sooner or later, they're gonna find something to make you to bow down. So I just think he could have waited, because now you're telling the trade secrets of the Shield, and that's not gonna be a good thing.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I want to see, because we haven't talked about the Scottie Pippen book. I'm not going to read that book. I haven't talked about that on purpose. And he's going after Michael Jordan. And they were talking to some of the other players on the team, and they were like, "We don't even know what Scottie's talking about." He's like, everything was hunky dory. We're trying to figure out, how do we miss this? And it just came when I heard, I think Bill Winnington say that, I'm like, it's all about selling books at this particular point. So he's kind of just really kind of cashing everything in. I think he lost a son. He had some marital issues, some rapper taking his woman, and it's just like his life is going in a spiral, and it's just making a cash dash now. And maybe RG3 is doing the same thing right now.
Yeah, I just think sometimes you gotta be level-headed. I think Scottie Pippen is basically at an end, bro, because he reminds me a little bit of in this sense, the guy had no personality. Two white quarterbacks who played in the NFL that they wanted to prop up. Dan Marino and what's the guy that was San Fran? I can't think of his name. Joe Montana.
Okay, yeah.
They have no personality. They wanted him to be on television bad. They just couldn't handle it. Dan Marino was like a cold fish, bro. He just had no personality. That's who he is. Scottie Pippen basically, I think, wanted Michael Jordan to help him out, align with him. And, Michael's selfish. Michael's basically cut off. If you don't go Michael way, Michael cuts you off. He cut off Charles Barkley for talking about him on television, and he's disassociated. Now, basically, Scottie Pippen is broke. Scottie Pippen was ESPN trying. He has no personality. He doesn't. So what else can Scottie Pippen do but take a shot at Michael Jordan? It's not going to go well, Scottie.
No.
Because a lot of people aren't into that. NBA fans, we ain't into that gossip, and that type of stuff. We're not into it, bro. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Because anybody that knew Michael Jordan and watched you play, we wouldn't know your first name if it wasn't for Michael Jordan. We wouldn't know. Michael Jordan basically carried you. So whatever happened, happened, but it kind of reminds me a little of Don King and Mike Tyson. Mike, he made you money, boss. You know when you got into bed with him, he was a shark. He made you money. Mike made your career, Scottie Pippen. He made your career. It is what it is. No one, you had no heart. You was getting punked when Michael Jordan stood up for you, bro. Seriously, punked. He was getting punked. And the thing is, man, you may not want to remember this, but we all remember. You chose not to go into a game and act like a little girl because the play wasn't called for you. You think we forgot about that?
And you went to different teams and couldn't make it happen.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
that was my thing. That was my thing. Plus, too, when I heard he says, well, he made a lot of people uncomfortable as he was screaming at him. Hell, that's Michael Jordan. He's screaming at everybody. When he told Paxson, you better get your ass ready because I'm throwing you the ball and you better hit the shot. He like, got you. That's because you want to win. That's how guys are. That's how they're going to be. But I don't know. Scottie just, they took his boat. Scottie, it's been rough for Scottie.
Yeah, it is. It has. Welcome to NFL Picks Week 13. We weren't with you last week, observing the holiday. And so Black Thor was in first place in Week 11 with a 108-56 in one tie record. Also, Icewater had 106-58. Pop came in third with 103-61. And then I was bringing up the rear 100-64. But this week, since we had a change, I don't know what happened Black Week with the 6-9 record because some of the picks you're making, that Detroit pick, and Pop even mentioned it. It's like, man, he missed the first 3 games. That brother, what was he thinking? And usually you let me pick Detroit on Turkey Day. And this year I'm like, nah, I can't do it this year. I'm gonna do something different. And I thought, Chicago's not that good, but they're better than Detroit. But the leaderboard now is Icewater. He had a 10-5 record last week, and he's at 116, 63 losses, 1 tie. Black Thor had a 6-9 record last week with 114, 65 losses, 1 tie. Pop had a 9-6 record with now he has an overall total of 112, 67 losses and 1 tie. And I didn't do much better with a 7-8 record, and now I'm at 107, 72 losses. And what I told Pop earlier today, I'm just here for the ride, man. There ain't no way I'm catching up.
Don't quit so early, man. Don't quit so early.
No. It's okay. We got about a few more weeks left? About 4 or 5 more weeks left?
Yeah, man. Don't quit so early, man.
Unless y'all just dish the show and not pick.
I don't see you as a quitter. I see you as a loser,
I'm not
but not a quitter.
I'm not a quitter, but I'll get the eggnog next week, and so I'll celebrate it and just ride the season on out. But any quick hitters about your riding high in April and getting shot down in May, Black?
No, man. I just gave out some Christmas presents last year. That's all. Enjoy your gifts. I tell your pops. Enjoy the presents because they came out last week. I thought Detroit was going to. I thought they had a chance for them to win. But I'll say this: when you got a head coach from Chicago, you Joyce Bobby Detroit Pistons. I mean Detroit Lions, bro. There's something wrong with you. There's something wrong. You won the Super Bowl. You only beat Detroit, baby.
Ice, your thoughts, real quick.
Man, I looked up. I was like, oh my goodness, because I looked at the Detroit-Chicago game, and I was like, Detroit usually wins on Thanksgiving. Detroit usually wins on Thanksgiving. And someone was like, nah. I just can remember Detroit's head coach taking the clipboard to his head every 5 minutes. I'm like, they ain't gonna win. They're not gonna win the game. And I was very close, but I was like, Detroit's done it again. It was a crazy week, man. I was surprised by some of the picks. I was like, we gonna go this way or we going down. And everybody went back up. So it is what it is.
All right. It should be a three-man race at this particular point with Black Thor, Icewater, and Pop. Pop is still hanging in there. Let's go to our picks. The pick order is Black, followed by me, Icewater, and Pop pick last. I already have Pop's picks. So, Black, on Thursday, you have Dallas at New Orleans. Who you got, man?
I'm going to pull an Icewater, man. I'm going to wait till Sunday to get my picks in.
You can do that.
I was really concerned. I'm like, usually he has his picks in. What's wrong? Did the plane
come on, man.
You can do that. You can do that. And you can do that. You can do that. You can do that. Hey, so is that what it was? Did that make a difference?
Let me try at least 1 week. Let me try, man, 1 week. Get my picks tomorrow night. Anyway.
Let's go. Look. You can listen. You can listen to Mick pick it in. See if it make a difference.
Oh, man. You had me worried, bro. You had me worried.
No, but here's the thing. He say that, though. So if I'd have picked every day he picked, I'd be tired with it, right?
I don't know. 6 p.m. is 6 p.m. I know on the East Coast.
Oh, my God. Really? I had some things going on, man.
All right, boy. You got you, man.
I'm like, maybe he had a good time. He forgot about it.
I had some things going on. I did send them in before the game started.
Yeah, you did.
I did. I know that difference. That changed.
56.
Okay.
You're all right, my boy. Yeah, you're all right, man. You're all right, man. I cracked up when I saw that.
That's cool. Hey, but they was in beforehand. I beat the deadline. It's like you get that, like you have a star player on your team playing, and then he didn't get his permission slip in 4 minutes before. I don't care if he come, I ain't gonna let him play. Then all of a sudden they go, you starting.
Oh, man.
Where in the world, baby?
Oh, I forgot who Dallas played, man. Tell me again who
Dallas at New Orleans.
Oh, yeah, Dallas will win this game, but Dallas should be ashamed of itself, man. Dallas just can't beat good teams, but they're beating New Orleans. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. I'm going with Dallas also. Ice, we got?
Yeah, they've been so bad, and they just gave stuff away, so Dallas needs to make it happen. Ezekiel Elliott, just give him the damn ball. If they don't, the Raiders don't stop they're going to make it happen because they don't stop the run at all, the team that they're playing. So yeah. I got to go with Dallas.
Papa's going with Dallas too, but isn't Zeke hurt?
Yeah.
And then Jerry Jones, like, he going to be our workhorse this year. This game. I'm like, wait a minute, this guy.
I don't know.
Zeke ain't been the same since he got his contract, boss. I'll be honest with you.
Zeke, like, you want me to play, I'll play. If you don't want me to play, shit, well, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe rest him this game because, you got Pollard. You got Pollard back there.
Yeah, but you run out of weeks, though. Weeks.
That's true. Next game on tap is Arizona at Chicago. Black, who you got?
Oh, Arizona, man. I don't care who's quarterback for Arizona. Arizona, baby.
I'm going Arizona also. They don't know if Fields is going to play or not. I got a theory about why Coach Nagy put in Fields in the first place. And I think it was to save his job, Ice, because people were calling for him. and he can always use, if Fields doesn't pan out or have a good season, he can always use that he's a rookie quarterback and he's developing to keep his job. That's my own personal theory.
No, I'm with you on that, but that he ain't the reason why they losing games.
That's true.
Fields doing all he can do.
Nagy's gone, man.
Yeah, you can't. Fields, it ain't Fields' fault that you ain't got nobody to throw to. I mean, what? I mean, you can only do so much. But even with that being said, one with Arizona, they just, it's enough. I think they're trying to get back on track because it's getting close. It's getting close to the playoffs, and now people need to wise up and get ready because the season is getting away from us.
Yeah. It's Arizona across the board, going with Baby Yoda. Next game on tap is Indianapolis at Houston. And Black, just when you think Indianapolis can pull some strings, they had the game with Tampa Bay and they just can't close.
Yeah, I'm not, that does bother me about them. I watched some of that game. You're right. They had them where they needed them and couldn't do it. I'm gonna take the Colts for this one though. Texans are starting to kind of show some grit, but I don't think it's gonna be enough to get past the Colts though.
Yeah, I agree. Went with Indianapolis. All right, so you got.
Yeah, Tyrod was trying to get busy down there in Houston, trying to get rejuvenated like he won another contract. But the way that Mr. Taylor has been running with Indianapolis, despite their situation, even T.Y. Hilton showed up again last week with a touchdown. I think they're back at least to kind of be halfway decent in the division. So I'm going Indianapolis.
All right, it's Indianapolis across the board. Next game on tap is the Los Angeles Chargers at the Cincinnati Bengals. Black, who you got?
This is a tough game here, man. Man, the Cincinnati taking the Steelers last week. Damn. Woo.
That doesn't convince the Pittsburgh Steelers that they need to pull the plug on Ben and go in another direction. I don't know what it's going to take.
This game is in Cincinnati. I'm going to take the Bengals. If it was in LA, I probably would go with the Chargers. But this is the type of game Chargers would travel across the country and find a way to give it up. They just find a way to kind of give it up. And Cincinnati's kind of feeling good. I think they realize this division really can be theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they're starting it now. If they can bring that into this week at home, they should play well. I'll take the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bengals too. This should be an exciting game with two young and up-and-coming quarterbacks. So I'm going with Cincinnati. Ice?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bengals. It's going to be a little chilly down in the nasty natty. Outside of the little country club out there in L.A., the Chargers out there drinking mint julep and sipping on Mai Tais. Gonna be a little chilly down there, and you're not used to that, and you can't turn on the retractable roof at 75 degrees. It's gonna be a problem. So I'm rolling with Cincinnati.
All right, it's Cincinnati across the board. See, this is why I'm not gonna catch up because every time around this year get tight.
We ain't got time for that. Roll with the picks, man. The picks are with the picks. We ain't got time for that, bro. Come on now, let's go. Look.
Hey, look. Hey,
don't hear that.
Here's the deal. It didn't start out like that.
Thank you. You know what I mean?
Look, you made those picks.
Come on, you can cry about college basketball. No more crying on this show, man. Let's go.
Look. Hey, you made those picks. Nobody made those picks for you. Stein!
All right, next game on tap is Minnesota at Detroit. Black, Detroit again?
Only if I had a Stein. Minnesota, baby.
I'm going with Minnesota too. I don't care if it's bad Cousins or good Cousins. Gotta go with Minnesota. Detroit just can't get out their way. Ice?
Yeah, even if he missed the game where he was late with his picks. Anyway, I still had to go with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins.
All right, Minnesota across the board. Pop goes with Minnesota. This is a game that I don't know. I don't even know if they should even play. The New York Jets at Miami. Black, what you got? Yeah, it stinks.
Miami, man. Miami, especially it's in Miami. Miami trying to make some noise. It's interesting. I think this general manager is tied to this head coach. If not, I think he might be on the hot seat. Realistically, I know you said that a few while ago, but I think the general manager and the owner kind of likes him. And the fact that they're showing some grit a little bit, I think it's going to save his job. So I'm going to go with Miami.
All right. I'm going with Miami also. Ice, who you got?
The Jets surprised you, and then you
the Giants.
It's the Giants.
Yeah, Giants at Miami.
Giants.
You said the Jets.
I thought
I'm sorry, Giants at Miami. Were you going to pick the Jets?
No, I'll stay in Miami. I still stay there.
Oh, sorry, my fault.
Okay, because I was like, wait a minute. Okay, now that can make a difference. But Giants been trying to play a low ball, but now I got to go with Miami. Tua is trying to keep his job, and he's still trying to say, just give me one more chance. And he's playing a little bit better, so I'm going with Miami.
So it's Miami across the board. Pop picks Miami, so it's going. It's everybody's picking the same
Come
team.
on, man. No crying.
Game on tap is the Philadelphia Eagles at the New York Jets. Who you got, Black?
Oh, Philadelphia, man. I'll take Philadelphia. I took them last year. I think they kind of did hit the mark, but I think they're coming. The Jets are they're hyped, but they don't get it down the field. I'm gonna take Philly.
All right, I'm going with Philly also. Ice, who you got?
Yeah, in these type games, even though the team is not great, Philadelphia, there'll be that connection together with Hurts and D. Smith. They have something going on. They're gonna be, if they keep them together, they're gonna be a solid combination in the future. With that being said, I'm gonna take Philadelphia.
All right, it's Philadelphia across the board. Pop picks Philly. Next game on tap. It's another game they should just eliminate. Tampa Bay at Atlanta. Black, who you got?
Wow. Yeah, sometimes I think you need to fire coaches doing halfway through the season. Plenty need to fire their coach. Yeah, I'm gonna take Tampa Bay with this one. Yeah, Tampa Bay. This is where they're gonna use this game to kind of get it rolling again. Gronk was amazing last week, bro. But I think Tampa Bay's gonna start to fine tune some things. This is a game they'll look to fine tune some things. I like the fact with Tampa Bay, real quick. I like the fact that this head coach can call out Tom Brady, and Tom Brady shakes it off. I love that. I like that.
I'm going with Tampa Bay too. There was a player who lost a tooth, and they asked the coach about it. He's like, I don't care. Why are you asking me? I don't care if he lost a tooth. He's going to play. So Tampa Bay, Atlanta had a coach, but they didn't want him, and they let him go. But I thought they had a good coach.
Yeah.
They let him go, and now you get what you get. Ice.
Yeah, Tampa Bay is Black Thor mentioned. Try to tell y'all last year they're trying to ramp it up. About week 13, week 12, week 13, Gronk start coming around. Then they get their three-headed monster at tight end. They bring in Brait. Then they bring O.J. Howard start playing again. Now you're gonna start to see A.B. show up again. Then they get a three-headed monster at running back. So yeah, they just kind of getting it together now. So I'm gonna go Tampa Bay. They just fine tune. You're gonna see guys playing this weekend that you don't even recognize.
Yeah.
That's how they're gonna roll. They're gonna fine tune it. It's almost like a practice game for Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Okay, it's Tampa Bay across the board. Pop goes with Tampa Bay. Next game on tap is Jacksonville at the Los Angeles Rams. Black?
Yeah, I'm gonna say right now, Urban might retire this year, but he just might retire. He won't have a college football job, but he might step down. He might get heartburn or something. But that being said, I'm taking the Rams.
All right. I'm going with the Rams, too. I'm not going to make any more Urban Meyer jokes. Ice, who you got, man?
Rams have spent too much damn money to be losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
If they do, oh, my God.
Oh, wow. That'd be tough. Somebody got to go. You lose to the Jaguars, somebody got to go. So,
yeah.
I mean, you can put it on Stafford all you want to. Stafford don't catch no passes. Anyway, I'm going to leave that right there. And he don't play defense. But I'm going to go with the Rams.
Yeah, it's Rams across the board on this one. Next game on tap is Washington at the Las Vegas Raiders. Black, who you got?
I like what Washington's trying to do, but the Raiders showed me something on Thanksgiving, bro. I think they might be coming out that funk that they were in, and they're at home. I'm going to take the Raiders.
All right. I thought I was going to be the lone person taking the Raiders on this, even though I like what Washington is doing. I don't know. I don't think they can handle that tight end that the Raiders have in that receiving core. And the Raiders, they had less penalties than Dallas, which was unbelievable. I've never seen a game where the Raiders had less penalties than the team. So I'm going with the Las Vegas Raiders. Ice?
Yeah, I mean, you look at Washington making little moves, but that defense is still very vulnerable in a way. And home cooking in Las Vegas for the Raiders makes it just right for them to win this game. So taking the Raiders.
All right. And Papa's the only one going with Washington in this game. All right. Next game on tap is Baltimore at Pittsburgh. Ugh. Black, what you got?
Ooh, when you can throw 4 interceptions and still win, I'm sorry. I seen Tom Brady do it too in a playoff game. I think I'm correct, but I don't. I think at some point some loss is going to catch it with the Ravens, and when they least expect it, man, because they won some of these games here again by spit and chewing gum. They're not going to need that this weekend. They're not going to need it this weekend to beat the Steelers, but I'm sorry, man. You got to play better than what they play to win some of these games, man. I'm just sorry. I'll take the Ravens, though.
All right. I'm going with Baltimore also. Ice, who you got?
Little magic from Marmar. That's all you need. Just a couple doses. It's not hard to beat Pittsburgh these days. So I'm going with Baltimore.
Yeah, it's not hard to beat them at all. That's Baltimore across the board. Pop is going with Baltimore. Next game on tap is San Francisco at Seattle. Black, who you got?
Wow. I'm hoping Seattle games travel. I really do, because they look good last week. I went against them last week. They look good. I mean, they were just giving the ball to Debo, put him in the backfield, what you got to do. They can move the ball, and Seattle's defense is not that good, man. I think what's name for the most part is playing hurt, and he probably is doing himself a disservice. Speaking of Wilson, but I'm going to take 49ers with this one.
Yeah, I'm taking 49ers also with this one. Ice, who you got?
Yeah, San Francisco showed you they could hold on long enough, and 12 man has asked for his refund on the season tickets. He's not around. 12 man not around, so I think San Francisco find a way to win. So San Francisco.
All right, it's San Francisco across the board. Pop picks the 49ers. Next game on tap is Denver at Kansas City.
Ooh, Kansas City, man. They're trying to get back to where they are. I don't think their offense is still where they need to be. Their defense is starting to show some flashes, but this is a game where they can tune it up some more. I'm going to take KC.
All right, I'm going with Kansas City also. Ice, who you got?
If Denver had just a little bit more defense, you would really consider them, because Teddy B is trying to get it done. They got a two-headed monster at running back with Williams and Melvin Gordon. Not looking too shabby, but they're not going to have enough defense to get it done. So, unfortunately, got to choose KC.
All right. It's KC across the board. Pop goes with Mahomes. Last game on tap is New England at Buffalo. Black, who you got?
Ooh, wow.
And New England is ahead of Buffalo in the division.
They're going to take this division, man. I wouldn't have thought that at the beginning of the year, but they're going to make a statement Monday night and take this division. And who would have thought that beginning of the season?
Yeah.
New England is, I'm not going to say they're back, but they're going to take this division. I'm going to take the Patriots.
Yeah. A lot of people are sleeping on New England's defense. That's what's doing it. That's what's doing it for New England. Matt Jones is taking care of the ball. He's doing what he needs to do. Very smart watching him play, but just very smart quarterback. And you wouldn't think, he doesn't look athletic. He doesn't look like, the part. If you see him walking down the street, you wouldn't think he was an NFL quarterback. But he has the smarts up here, and he has just enough ability to win. So I'm going with New England. This is probably one of the first times I'm going with New England this year. Ice?
Sounds good. And they've been winning some games, and they taking over the division. All that sounds good. But Buffalo needs to turn this around, man. They do. They need to turn it around. And Matt Jones, the savior, Matt Jones, is going to take them down the road. Not this week. Going with Buffalo.
All right. Pop is
going. I'm glad you look. I'm glad you glad.
AC Green, baby. I'm always going to put that name out there. AC Green. That's one more game closer to you. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, AJ Green.
AJ, I'm sorry.
AC, AJ, all them greens.
Oh, man.
Greens and Polk. Pop is going with New England. So Ice is the only one going with Buffalo in that game. Those are our picks. So check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. See you next week. There was a fight this weekend with Lopez and Kambosos, and I want to recap that. The fight before that, it was a week. We were talking it up a few weeks before it, the Crawford-Porter fight. We're going to talk about that and some upcoming fights with Haney and Jojo Diaz and Davis and Cruz. Those fights are coming up on December 4th and December 5th. We'll preview those. But let's take a step back a week because we weren't on last week. Crawford Porter. Watching that fight, I thought Porter was just a little bit too eager, just leaning forward and almost like he was inviting Crawford to hit him on the chin and knock him out. And I thought that the father, I think emotions got in the way and said, hey, I don't want to see my boy get beat like this. He's getting knocked down twice. And that's not, usually what Porter, how Porter ends up in the fight. Your thoughts about that fight, bro?
Yeah, one thing coming in, Porter had a pretty good game plan, and he was working it. From the standpoint, he was actually touching Terrence Crawford. He's trying to rough him up, beat him up.
Mm-hmm.
But as you mentioned, I think later on, as Crawford started to figure things out and started to move forward and landed more punches, it appears as if Porter was, like you said, he became a little bit more anxious. He was leaning forward, became more of a target. And he kind of got a little antsy and lost what he was doing. So when you lose your focus, it opens the door for that. The dad was just trying, as you said, was trying to protect his son. He didn't want to see him really get blasted. So the other part too was he could tell that he had no chance after that.
Yeah,
He was trying to come back. He didn't show that he was able to really get his composure back. So dad was like, you got knocked down once and you got down twice. And then you're banging the floor, which at that point he thought he lost his composure. Because normally Sean jumps up right back on you.
right.
But when he's banging down, it's like, I can't do anything with this. He's hitting me too much. He's hitting me too much. So dad saw the sign and dad said, I'm gonna make an executive decision. It'd be different if you had a chance to win. You're not winning. So we pull the plug. And nothing wrong with that. It didn't look great on TV.
No, it didn't look at the time. It didn't look great at all.
Fans were pissed off, but the father knows his son. So he pulled the plug, and if dad did that, like Sean said, I didn't want him to. I didn't like it because I want to go out like on my sword. But he said, my father, I trust my father. And that's how I rolled.
So Porter retires, and Crawford lives to see another big payday. They show Earl Spence in the arena. As soon as the fight was over, he walked out. And what do you think happens next with this Terrence Crawford and him going forward?
I mean, of course, he wants the fight with Errol Spence Jr. And the thing about it that's key here is the factor that Crawford's going to become a free agent, no longer with Top Rank. So he's able to sign with whoever. I think he's going to try to become a free agent, do the Canelo thing, where he can fight when he wants to on any card or with any team. He might just do a fight-by-fight basis. I think he might be close to signing a contract with an auxiliary group that's working with the Mayweathers, right? So we'll see what happens there. But I don't think he's going to get the Spence fight right away. So, because Spence is, even though he said don't want to tune up when he comes back, what he considers not a tune-up, he wants to fight somebody of legitimacy. He's not going to take that fight right away. So technically is a tune-up. I see one or two things that Terrence Crawford could go down to 140 or stay at 147 and fight Josh Taylor, the 140 champion, who's the undisputed champion. And Josh Taylor was at the fight. Something I noticed is right after that fight, around that time after we saw the fight, Josh Taylor started speaking Terrence Crawford's name. Prior to that, I've never heard of him trying to be showing any interest to Crawford. But maybe he saw something that he thinks he can do to help him win. I can see
Keith Thurman was talking, about Crawford.
Yeah, he mentioned it too. But Keith Thurman had to fight in 3 years, 2-3 years.
Right.
So how can you really take him serious? He said, well, give me 8 months. Okay. And Crawford's like, I'll wait. So that might be a possibility if he wants to do that, but we don't know. The other thing was Errol Spence Jr. might fight somebody in the spring like Ugas. I mean, the WBA, who he represents, was like, nah, you need to fight somebody else. But if he wins that fight, the other thing what I'm saying is intriguing about Ugas and Spence is if they do meet and Ugas loses, Spence takes his belt, right? It adds some more fuel to the fire. And then it adds even more fuel if Crawford can win his fight. So they can come together at 147 and they can fight for the undisputed welterweight champion of the world. That's a major fight. Okay. The only thing is about that is the Porter Crawford fight did horrible pay-per-view numbers.
Wow.
Back in 100,000 was not a lot there.
Wow.
So that's why people were saying that Terence Crawford may not be able to carry a pay-per-view fight. So with that being said, if Spence and Crawford do fight, you're probably going to see Spence say, look, I told you, we can do 60-40.
Now maybe 70-30 now.
Might be 70-30 because you're not pay-per-view. You know, that's what Tank Davis is saying. You know, you say that you want to, but people are turning in to watch Tank Davis. And they're making all kinds of excuses as to why Crawford and Porter didn't draw. But some other fights had the same thing. So if that does happen, I think you're going to see him have to, Crawford is going to have to acknowledge and give it up that he's going to have to accept less money because he can't carry the load.
All right. Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos fought last week. And I was able to see the fight. And, you know, Lopez is saying there was a controversy. He felt he won the fight. What are your thoughts on this particular fight?
Wow. I'm not sure what happened with Teofimo Lopez. Kambosos, people had basically, you know, thrown the towel in, said this was an automatic victory. Teofimo was going to move on to something bigger and better, right? But I think when you look at the factor that Teofimo Lopez had 13 months of inactivity right after fighting Lomachenko. I mean, he was a high on the hog and considered one of the greatest of all time now since he beat the big, bad, dangerous Lomachenko. And he ran with it for a while. And I'm not sure what happened with it, but he had 13 months of inactivity and maybe he didn't take his opponent seriously. And the other part of it too is that fight reminded me of Lopez's fight with Lomachenko. And I'll tell you why. He comes in and Lopez gets knocked down in the first round. So now he's behind. And he's scrambling behind. And his corner never told him, his dad never told him that he was behind. His dad was telling him he was winning the fight. And that's why he's making out a commotion afterwards. But he clearly was losing the fight. And you think he'd be in scramble mode, trying to come back and find a way to win so he can get anxious, but he was never able to catch up. So now, with that being said, you saw Lopez putting things together, trying to make it happen, and he just fell short. You can see his face too. So maybe other fighters now are going, tricky thing here is Kambosos won to beat Lopez. Maybe Lopez is not as great as we thought.
Yeah, and we put him in our pound for pound. I know we had him at 6 or 7 in the pound for pound, but now after that happens, I guess he immediately drops out, and somebody else takes his spot. But what's his future now? What is? I mean, he's only 24 years old. He has a lot of time. What's his future?
There's a lot of people there at the weight he was fighting at, right? At 135. So he's probably going to have to make go down a little bit and, you know, swallow his pride, fight somebody that may not be so much marquee, right? So he can do that at 135 and try to get back around. So you got to get back in the mix. And there are a couple guys out there at 135 that you can try to fight that may not be on top trying to rise up to. You got the young guys over at, at lightweight with JoJo Diaz, who's fighting coming up. We're going to talk about that. Tank Davis, and even to a point where depends on how it goes, even though he might want to do something different. Maybe you score it all once and for all, start getting your name back out there. You fight Lomachenko again.
Yeah.
You were talking about that earlier. That might be a way to get your name back up if you're serious to make sure that it works. So Lomachenko maybe, but you got to take some time off because the other part too, and I want to say this real quick, is there's a chance that Lopez is saying that he did not feel good at that weight, and he's just gonna go to 140. So he's gonna leave 135 and go to 140, and of course he goes to 140. some reason or another, he might think he just might say, the hell with it, I'm gonna fight Josh Taylor because I can beat him.
Yeah.
So that way you don't have to worry about the weight. He's already won that at 135, come back up 140, be undisputed champion again. Right back on point, right back on top. So that might be an avenue for him to move up to fight Josh Taylor at 140.
All right. Devin Haney versus Jojo Diaz on Saturday, and then you had Gervonta Davis and against Isaac Cruz on Sunday. What should we be looking for in these particular fights?
Well, this is an opportunity for Devin Haney to show his skills against somebody that's considered legitimate, right? We know what's going on with Jojo Diaz. He's a very busy fighter. He likes to get in your chest. He likes to, he may not have the most powerful punches, but he's very busy. He likes to make it nasty and an ugly fight. And I think he's going to have to do that to stay on top of Devin Haney. I'm sorry. Devin Haney is the opposite. So styles make fights. Devin Haney wants to box, stay away from him, pop him with that jab, combinations, moves around. I think that Devin Haney is looking for a way to gain more respect on his name. And he thinks by fighting Jojo Diaz, that can happen. Jojo Diaz in the past has been in with some marquee names. He had a hell of a fight, Jojo Diaz did, with Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr. tuned him up real well, but he still was in an interesting fight. And also Jojo Diaz was able to defeat Tevin Farmer at the time. Tevin Farmer was coming off some pretty good wins and making some moves, and Jojo Diaz beat him up and won the decision. So this will allow Devin Haney to really show the world that he's in there with somebody that's been in the trenches in the mix and continue to climb, because that's what he wants to do until he can get another higher opponent. I think that's how that's working for Devin Haney.
Okay. All right. And you got Gervonta Davis and Isaac Cruz. And is this kind of a tune-up for Gervonta Davis?
He says no. I mean, because I guess Cruz is a very busy fighter. He comes in a certain kind of way, and he's a puncher. So there's always a puncher's chance. I kind of think it is, one, because he's a replacement, right? But it's good for a tune-up. He didn't want to lose opportunity to work. There's a lot of fights that could happen at lightweight. I mean, Tank Davis, I think, is one of the most dangerous fighters at that weight at 135 because of the way he's set up. And you kind of say to yourself, Devin Haney's talking stuff. Maybe he wants to step in there with Tank afterwards. And then also there's a chance everybody's talking about Lomachenko. So Tank Davis said he doesn't care. He'll fight anybody. And maybe what we'll see is afterwards is if Tank Davis wins and Devin Haney fights, Haney versus Tank Davis, which I would love to see. But there's a lot going on, so many different fighters. As you mentioned before, the other part too is with Kambosos winning. Now everybody's calling his name out.
Yeah.
Everybody's calling him out. Oh, I want to fight him, I want to fight him. I want to go up there, Ortiz, Josh Taylor, even Shakur Stevenson said, yeah, I'll fight him. Yeah, Shakur wants to fight everybody. But there are a lot of people that called out the name of Kambosos when he won. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out, how long he holds the belt. And some people might think it's easy that Teofimo Lopez just didn't know how to get the job done, but they do.
Yeah, I think in the first round, he just came out real eager. Like, it seemed like he was fighting on emotion instead of, getting in there, relaxing, and then getting in the groove of the fight. And I think that caught up with him this particular time.
Yeah, well, he said he was going for the knockout.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do go for the knockout, like you said, you're more or less a headhunter than anything else. You're not going to the body, you're not using combinations, you're not using the angles that you normally would to kind of get away from somebody, slip punches. You're just trying to do it quick, which can cause you to lose a lot of your endurance. So it can happen on any night, and I'm sorry, but then Teofimo Lopez saw that. And so now he's going to start from the drawing board up, and he might just go to 140, say, the hell with it. I'm tired of it. I think I was robbed, which I don't think he was, and move on and maybe chase Josh Taylor.
You're the best. We'll see you next week.
Appreciate you, brother.